Masonic Light Podcast. This is Past Master Moyer calling in with my critique / recap of episode 100, entitled Episode 100. That's a real original name. Anyway, as usual, I have to pick on Larry. You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast you were surprised you're still alive, and we all are, but we're glad you're still with us. I enjoyed this episode because it was more of a historical perspective of how the show has evolved since the beginning in July 30th, 2016. I would like to congratulate Pete, Larry, Jack, Tim, and Josh. Each of you has a unique perspective and skill set, and because of that, the shows are always excellent. Really appreciate listening to it, and I hope you'll be around for another 100 episodes, and you'll allow me to call in and pick on Larry. Again, thanks and good luck, and I'll be in touch. Bye.
From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Light Podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons. It is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Welcome, everybody. It's episode 102. 102.
Are you sure?
102?
There's no possible way.
Oh, my God.
And we're still here. On this week's episode, coming to you from our own basements again, we are going to be talking to Masonic Clothiers, Carl Hern and Nathan Tweedie. Nathan's been at it for a couple years with Two Pillars Apparel. And I think Carl's like he's probably the oldest of the new guys. Yeah, he's been doing this for a little longer than I have. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room and we're going to see what you've been up to. We'll start with Jack.
Jack, what has Jack been up to? Jack has been participating with the nascent Beersheba Grotto, which is trying to get started in District 5, more or less, in Pennsylvania. It's southeastern PA, Chester County, if you know the counties of Pennsylvania. And we've got enough people right now to start the grotto. So we're very excited about that. I am still wearing my past monarch fez from Ubar Grotto. That's my mother grotto, and it is a mother grotto. But other than that, we're just waiting for somebody to rip the tape off and get back into this Masonic world. I'm waiting.
Nathan, what have you been up to for the past couple weeks?
Masonry's back open in New York State, and neither of the two lodges that I belong to have met yet, but we're both going to meet next week. So that's exciting. But I've been filling my time online with the Refracted Light Facebook group. Lots of great education and lectures on there, almost nightly.
What?
Yeah. Refracted Light on Facebook.
What?
Check it out.
I didn't know about Jack.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Refracted Light. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, catching up on my favorite podcast. Maybe you guys, maybe not. I don't know.
Tim, what have you been up to?
Well, Eureka West Shore Lodge number 302 held a family picnic a couple weeks ago on the night that would have been a stated meeting if we'd had August stated meetings. We had about 50 guys show up. We had a pig roast. We had some cigars and just a good fellowship, good time to come together. It just so happened to be the night that the front edge of the tropical storm blew up the coast. Fortunately, everybody got under cover before the rain came, and by the time we were done, the rain had kind of passed. So that was really nice. But did that. I've actually been working with the guys with the Amity app. It's kind of Masonic, especially since they were on this show, trying to clear some hurdles so that more lodges in Pennsylvania can make use of it. And other than that, that's been about it.
Larry, have you done anything except changing your dressings?
No, the dressings are over with. I'm about to be released from nursing care. I'm on my own.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, other than like being secretary for the what's that group that meets on Thursday? Oh, Goose and Gridiron. Oh, geez. Anyway, yeah, other than sending out notices and so forth and not attending, but I will be there this coming Thursday. Other than that, no, not much of anything.
Alrighty then. Josh, what do you have going on?
Just doing the District 1 safety stuff for getting back to lodge and working with the officers on our plan and our responsibilities, on the night of our upcoming stated meeting.
Carl, what do you have going on? And where are you located?
I am located in Chicago. As far as what's been going on, my lodge, my home lodge, Illumination Lodge number 5, is still closed down. We meet in the Scottish Rite building, and they have yet to open the Valley of Chicago. So we don't have a lodge. We are a lodge without a home. So I basically, I did attend a grotto ceremonial for Shy Il Grotto, my grotto. And
great grotto. You guys are killing it out there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful grotto. We have a great time, and that's really been everything that has been going on Masonically in my life.
Well, Jack, we'll have to see if we can get some of the Chill guys to come out to our Halloween hootenanny.
Oh, do they dare?
That'd be nice.
See how wrong we do it.
We could have a fight in the parking lot with Azim and Chai Il. We can just let them duke it out. It'll be awesome.
They're from Chicago. They've got a little bit more experience with violence.
They're coming in hot. I know. It's all right. It's all right.
We'll loot your lodges.
So what have I been up to? Past couple weeks, I finished up most of my artwork, all the drawing on Knights of the Zoroaster.
Nice.
Been working with Joey for getting it mixed. We finally got a hold of that diva tenor, Barry Banks, got him to record his part. And then so mailing and selling crap. And then this is coming up, but on Friday, I'm going to the Philly airport to pick up J.D. Smelzer, who's a worshipful master down in Midland, Texas, and a member of Azim Grotto in New York. Who knows how? But bringing him back here, and then on Saturday, he and Joey Doherty, a former guest, are going to drive out to California together. So that's kind of cool. So we're going to take a quick break.
But wait, Pete. More important than all of that.
Oh, well,
is yours? No. Wait, it's your squirrel saving efforts on behalf of Baby Squirrel.
Humanitarian.
We got to talk about that, really.
Squirrelitarian.
So the wife went for a walk one day, and my big Doberman was like sniffing at something in the grass. And it was a baby squirrel with his eyes closed still and all pink and stuff. And, she doesn't know much about animals. So she came back and asked me. I'm like, well, you should leave it because it probably just fell out and the mom will come get it. Or at least the mom will go to it and feed it. But she went back the next day on her walk and it was still there. So we picked it up. And as I'm wondering how to take care of it, I realized that, like, in my care, it had a 99% chance of dying. So I drove it up almost to Yangling territory to a wildlife refuge about an hour north of me. So no idea how he's doing, but, we did our good deed and we saved a squirrel.
Ta-da.
And I'll probably go squirrel hunting this fall, so it really makes no sense, but... quick thank you to all of our Patreons. Tim, what do you have to say about those guys?
Well, they are the ones that keep this content going. They keep this show going. And
It's their fault.
I know. And for as little as $1 a month,
$1,
just $1, you can support this podcast. And a thank you to all of our Patreons. And we encourage more of you to join those ranks.
Patreon.com/Masonic Light Podcast. And anybody, even the dollar guys, you're going to get the Knights of the Zoroaster early. So, I don't know, there's a little bonus for you. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll talk to Masonic artists and clothiers Carl Hern and Nathan Tweedie.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
We're back, everybody. We're back, and our two guests today are in the Masonic clothing business. And, we probably should have talked to them a while back when we were talking about the Masonic Renaissance. Because, when I joined the Masons 21 years ago, if I wanted to get a Masonic shirt, my option was that one Masonic logo that was out there in the world and the same 2 or 3 polo shirts that you could get from every company. So welcome. We have our Carl Hern from Ascended Masters Clothing and Nathan Tweedie of Two Pillars Apparel. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, brother.
And so I wanted to ask you guys. So Carl, you've been around a little longer. When did you get started?
Well, I've been doing this going on almost 7 years now. So, I mean, it's been a while. We did do some name changes. We started off as Alter Ego Clothing, and then we changed that up to Ascended Masters Clothing. So,
what was your impetus to get you to get into this business?
Well, like you mentioned, when I became a Mason, the first thing I wanted to do was, show the lights and, just somehow, wear something Masonic. And I started looking for stuff and, just surfing the web. And I didn't really find much. There wasn't much out there. So then my wife had the great idea to say, hey, why don't you just design your own stuff and then see how it goes. Did a shirt, gave half the prints to my lodge brothers, and then that's how it all started.
That's awesome. And Nathan, you're about 2 or 3 years in business. How did you get started? Did we lose Nathan? Did we lose Nathan? Did we lose Nathan? Did we lose Nathan? Hey, and we're back after some technical stupidity. Nathan, you were the first one to go missing, and then I went missing looking for you. Just like we were talking about paramedics. The first man in to help is usually the one that gets hurt. So,
reach your throat, don't go.
What got you started? What got you started in the Masonic clothing business?
Well, so it was just a few months after I was raised a Master Mason that I heard about this thing called Masonicon in Attleboro. So I went there and came across Alter Ego, later Ascended Master. So actually, Carl had a huge impact on me deciding to go this route. And actually, my first Masonic ring I bought from him. And I was wearing that ring at a New Jersey Devils game a few months later. It was my first NHL game. And this guy, there's a woman sitting next to me and a guy next to her. And he just kept like peeking around. It turned out it was his wife. Kept peeking around his wife, looking at me. I'm like, what is up with this guy? What is he doing? And he was trying to see if my ring was a Masonic ring or not. Finally, he realized it was, and we struck up a nice conversation. And so at that point, it's like, I really wish I could just show like, hey, I'm a Mason, right there, proud and everything, along with my team colors. So I quickly mocked up a New Jersey Devils style hockey jersey with the square and compasses on the front, and combine that with the fact that I was working at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown at the time, so I was surrounded by baseball and doing research and Masons and baseball, and all just kind of came together. So right now I have all baseball and hockey items because it ties together things I love, sports and Masonry, so it's great.
Very cool. Yeah, I saw that even though you're a Devils fan, I saw you had Flyers colors, so I was impressed that you lowered yourself to do that.
Yeah, well, we can't all be perfect.
So just for a second, hang on a minute. Just for a second, you threw something out there. I got to grab Masons in baseball. What did you find?
The most recent time I've given my lecture on baseball and Masonry, I said there were 60 Masons that are members of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Turns out it's actually 61 that I can confirm now. So it's always ongoing, especially guys that were Prince Hall Masons. I really haven't been able to get into a lot of the records there, but along with Right Worshipful Kerry Cohn down in Long Island and brother Jerry Erickson, who I believe is passed quite a few years past, they're big research topics, and so I combined their research with my own. But yeah, 61 of the around 300 inductees of the Baseball Hall of Fame are Masons.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
Cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go back to Carl. Carl, what are some of the biggest headaches that you've had during this process, or like learning lessons that you got into?
Well, the biggest thing for me is just trying to please everyone. Everyone wants something different, and it's just never going to happen. I mean, no matter how hard you try, someone's just not going to like something you put out. Your design's too controversial and things like that. The biggest issue that I've got is skulls. You've got a lot of the older guys who will debate you tooth and nail, saying, "Hey, skulls have no place in Masonry," and things like that. And that's just, it's anyone who knows the esoterics of it, anyone who knows the history of it, knows that the skull does have a certain place in the craft, and that's one of the biggest things that I get, believe it or not.
And
or they could go further down the York right path.
You got some feedback, I know, even in the grotto circles.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean that you have in common with us guys. We were on the chopping block for our short.
We just have small fezzes. That's a whole another thing.
And then we all bought Daniel Di Natale's Hawaiian shirt, and almost got kicked out again.
Wow.
Nathan, I know you had a problem because you did not learn a good lesson that no good deed goes unpunished. So tell everybody what you tried to do and what you did do with the masks.
Yeah, so obviously New York was one of the first hotspots for the COVID-19 pandemic here in the United States. And being in upstate New York, obviously the decisions the governor made for the state impacted me. And so early on, I realized, hey, these masks are probably going to be around for a while. And that's the same point where nursing homes are really starting to get hit pretty hard. So I thought I would kind of take a little initiative and help out the Masonic care community in Utica, New York, and get them some masks. So I reached out to some suppliers and was able to find some masks that had some antimicrobial properties. They're not medical grade, but a little bit better than your usual cloth mask. And minimum order was 500 pieces. So I was like, great, I'll sell 250 and donate 250. I sold out of the 250 masks. Was it like 72 hours? It was less than 3 full days. I sold out. And I was like, great. Now I just have to wait for them to come in. Usually from that suppliers in that area, it usually takes me about 3 weeks to get my items. It took me about 3 months to get my items. They came the first week in June, I believe. I finally received the masks when sales went up in mid-March. So, yeah, that was brutal. And much like you guys saw with the Knights of the Quarantine jewels, demand was high. It still is. I still get emails about, hey, can I get a mask? And it was a one and done shot. So don't come to me looking for masks anytime soon. But there's plenty of other places making them.
Problems with jewels? I don't know what you're talking about. What is? It was flawless.
What is that?
What is this problem of which you speak? Yes.
So what have been your guys like your best seller? So like, what are you known? What product is kind of your flagship? What are you known for, Carl?
Well, I mean, some people might know, T-shirts are our hottest thing. That's what we're known for. We do sell hats, jewelry and things like that. We're moving on into having a little bit more pins available, and we're going to be releasing some new pins here shortly. But as Nathan said, I mean, the demand is so high in certain places and in certain things that, for example, military green material for T-shirts and things like that is really scarce right now, since they're using that all for masks. I had my Green Dragon Tavern shirts delayed because of that, so it's just been a real nightmare trying to get supplies and things like that. So it's just it's a hurdle that we just got to overcome, but I think there's going to be a lot of new things that we've got coming out on the horizon, so it's looking good.
And Carl, I found out through like when we had a little brouhaha that so our buddy John Bridegroom designed the jewel for us for the Knights of the Quarantine, and somebody made one that was eerily similar to ours, and it caused a little bit of a ruckus. But somebody told me that a Chinese company totally stole one of your original pieces of art, and everything almost total, correct?
Yeah, actually, there was a place on Facebook that they basically went into my website and took everything, like every design that we've got, and they put it out on their own page, and it was just a nightmare. And this stuff is still out there, but there's really not much we can do because they're located in China. And, the laws and all that are a little crazy. But we're working on trying to, pass a lawsuit on there to see what we can get resolved with this. But, it's been pretty bad. And I know that when I see brothers doing that to other brothers, that's terrible. And I did call out that one brother that copied your jewel and all that. That was pretty, it got pretty intense between that brother and John and all that, but we all kind of talked about it and hashed it out, so it's all good now.
It did. It all worked out. I mean, everybody was upright about the whole thing and said, "You're right. It was inappropriate. I apologize." It was done and done. I mean, it was clean, and it was really a good example of what Freemasons ought to be. I think, anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I wish the initial thing didn't happen, but it resolved itself way better than Carl's situation with the Chinese.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's a lesson for all of us, though. We're all very anxious and happy to cut and paste stuff and say, "Hey, let's just do this with this," and we realize that it's someone's property right, somebody's intellectual property, and it's just a reminder to all of us.
Nathan, have you had any drama?
So I haven't had anything quite like Carl did. I will say the one fantastic thing, because I follow Carlo's pages pretty closely, and all the other guys in the Masonic game, I guess, if you will, for whatever wares they're selling, be they aprons or other stuff. But guys really came out and supported Carl pretty hard in that, calling out the pages that were stealing his stuff, and if they saw the ads, they'd say, "This is a ripoff, go here if you want it." So that really made me pretty happy to see the brothers coming out to support Carl in that situation. I haven't had anyone directly rip off my stuff because, in all honesty, mine's not as, I'd say, original, I suppose. It's really is I just, I take my designs and I kind of build them around team designs that already exist. So I don't really have to worry about that too much, but there are some companies out there that are producing Masonic baseball jerseys, and those have been really poor quality when they've come in, and some people have associated those with me. So not necessarily the same thing, but people thinking that since I'm the only Masonic jersey supplier they've come across, that those poor quality ones that people talk about are mine. But yeah, I haven't had anything quite like Carl has.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Carl Hern and Nathan Tweedie.
At the Historic Smithton Inn of Ephrata, Pennsylvania, we're pleased to serve the latest creations from Weathered Vineyard Winery, along with spirits from Thistlefinch Distillery in Lancaster, all to be experienced in the tasting room of a beautifully restored 18th century bed and breakfast. Cigars by D&S Cigar are available for your enjoyment in the courtyard. The Historic Smithton Inn is convenient to Lancaster County's most interesting attractions. Just minutes from the Ephrata Cloister and the Green Dragon Farmers Market. And a short drive can get you to charming Lidditz, thriving downtown Lancaster, as well as Hershey, Bird in Hand, and Intercourse. Or Valley Forge and Gettysburg. Whether you're looking for a romantic getaway or an active vacation full of sightseeing and attractions, the Historic Smithton Inn will be a welcoming oasis from everyday life, one that you'll want to visit again and again. Stop in and visit at 900 West Main Street in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, or check out our website at historicsmithtoninn.com, or simply call us at 717-733-6094. Just ask for Past Master Dave.
And we're back from our vacation break, whatever that was, that we just heard things that we're not really sure what it was that we heard. But welcome back. We're with Carl and Nathan. And just the thing that I made the mistake of mentioning during the break was I'm a big be the change guy. And these guys are two really good examples of people that have come into the fraternity and seen a need and made the difference and have started doing something that wasn't being done before. And I mean, nothing else but to commend you guys for being willing to put your necks out a little bit and being the change to take the fraternity in its next steps. And I really appreciate that. And I know there's a lot of other guys. Now, let's talk for a minute about, and we talked about this before we started recording, like how many orders do you get from 80-year-old guys online? Okay, Carl, you're first.
Luckily I don't see, the age demographics of my customers.
Let me explain.
But I can tell you that in person, we do a lot of actual events, and there are some of the older brethren that do purchase. And it surprises me every time. And we do have an older demographic as well. But this is all done. This is all being done for modern Masons. For the young guys that are willing to wear something a little bit edgier, just something that is not your common everyday, your grandfather's masonry and whatnot.
Right, Nathan. You said that before we started, you said that you've experienced a really significant spike in internet sales, right? So how is that affecting your business, and where do you see that going? Going forward, because COVID's supposed to end in November, right? That's what they're saying.
Either way,
yeah. So
done.
So I don't do as many. I don't know nearly as many insight kind of sales as Carl does. The few that I've done, I've really enjoyed. I tried to do more this year, but they all got canceled. But as a result of not being able to get out there, and as a result of some of the different promotions I kind of put together, I've seen a huge spike. Plus, just online sales are up in general because people are stuck home and bored, so they're buying stuff. But yeah, I've seen a huge spike in my sales this year. the last few months, I saw more sales than I have in quite a long time on my web store. But also, I've been putting out a lot more new merchandise as well. So I think that's a big part of it as well. But yeah, it's forced me to kind of look at my store, look at Two Pillars Apparel as a whole, and where I want to go with it. Because the whole point of this was I wanted to just make enough money to get the stuff that I liked, I wanted to wear, make some stuff for some other guys to wear, and then hopefully make enough money to pay my dues. And if I did that, I'd consider it a win. It's really more of a hobby than it is really anything else. And if I can turn a slight profit on it, great. But yeah, it's more about just making the stuff and enjoying it. So it's kind of figuring out what the next step is, what's the next product I want to put out. And I've got tons of feedback. Like Carl said earlier, no matter what item you put out, you're going to get some feedback. You're never going to make everyone happy, especially when you focus on sports. I'm a Devils fan. My first mock-up was a Devils jersey. I don't even sell a Devils item right now. I'm a Mets fan. I don't sell Mets jerseys.
Then we don't blame you at all.
You notice there's a theme to the team. Yeah. I tend to like teams that don't perform well. So
Nice.
But yeah, so it's really making you kind of look.
Yeah, I went to Masonic Week one time and set up a table. Didn't last long because one of my buddies took me out to bars. So I just threw a sheet over my table and went out. But,
so if you're ever competing against Pete in merchandise sales, just take him out.
Well, the good news with Masons, they're pretty honest. So I came back and there was $100 in cash under the blanket. People took scarves and they left me money.
Oh, Lord.
That's not surprising at all.
Yeah. So no, I was beside the guy from Texas. I forget his name. He does Upon the
Dennis
Point.
Burns.
And yep. And he was coming up with. He kind of would get Masonic stuff and then put a twist on it. So at that time, he was selling those Star Trek communicators that look like a square and compass. And he was telling me, because he said he had some really beautiful stuff. But when he launched that, it was just like he was printing money, kind of like us with the quarantine jewel. It's just time. The right thing came out at the right time when people wanted it. And what Mario Peranti told me in New York, he's like, every one of these new Masons has nothing, no gear, and they have $100 that they're going to spend on T-shirts and hats and pins. They're going to spend it somewhere. So you better stick your hand in there and try and be the one that gets some of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, brothers. It's we're us as Masons, we're going to spend our money. We're going to go out and we're going to buy stuff. So whenever I hear anyone that's opposed to a brother making something and making money off the craft or things like that, that just it almost brings a tear to my heart, because it's hey, they're going to buy it from somewhere. Why are we giving our money to China, or why are we giving our money to some guy on eBay that's not even a brother? Why can't we support brothers when they're actually using their craft to produce something for the craft? It baffles my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. Plus, I have a strict policy. I won't make anything for an organization I don't belong to. I've had a lot of people requesting shrine goods. I'm not a shriner. I'm not going to make shrine items until I join.
You should join Shrine.
And I think a big part of that is but I think a huge part is we get our symbols and we understand what they mean. So when we incorporate it in, it's going to have more meaning to it. And that's what you're not going to get from the random guy that sells some Masonic stuff. So yeah, Carl, you're the one that does it, I think, best right now. I love your stuff, and I love how you throw stuff in a way I never would. So
thank you, brother.
Doing that.
Yeah, you have such cool original art, and that's one of the things. My scarves, there was no great art. That's just just stuff I just drew out and had to be geometric because it's like designing something for 8-bit Nintendo. Because it's knit. It's knit. I can't get any detail. Yeah. But in the past 6 months ago, I bought my first iPad, and I'm learning how to sketch on electronically and not on paper. And it's crazy. It's like there's a whole new world out there, and I don't know. I just think there's a lot of opportunities. So everybody learn and create. That's what Masons are supposed to keep learning. So, at 50, I'm teaching myself electronic graphic arts. It's insane.
Oh, that's great, brother.
So Larry,
Yo,
Wait, is Larry here today? What?
Welcome back, Larry.
do you guys have anything in the works that you're excited about that you want to talk about? Any art projects that you think are going to be good or coming out soon?
I can jump out first on that one, I guess. So I'm actually doing a current promotion that I'm a big fan of. So sports teams have just come back, right? So baseball's going, the NBA started up, the NHL started up, and since everything I have right now is either baseball or hockey related, my promotion is from 1 month from the league started back up or started, or the promotion will go so for 1 month or until the league gets shut down. So hopefully fans will follow that a little bit closer. But I mentioned the shrine, and I am working on some shrine items. I'm talking to some Shriners to make sure I'm not doing anything that isn't necessarily I don't know, kosher, I guess. But what I'm going to do is when I put it all out for pre-order, I'm going to tell guys, like, here you go. I'm going to join the shrine, and I'm not going to join the shrine until the proceeds, until there's enough, net proceeds for me to join the shrine. So it's going to pay my dues for my initial entry, and then from there forth, we can put out shrine stuff, because that's the biggest request I get. So I do have some shrine items in the work that'll be coming out soon. Also, the NHL just announced its newest hockey team, the Seattle Kraken, which you can just guess what their fans are going to be called, officially or unofficially. Yeah. And believe it or not, the Pacific Northwest is actually one of the places I sell pretty well. And that all goes. I
thought that area was affected more by heroin than crack. But... oh, crack! I like the big sea monster. I got it.
With a K.
Yeah, so I do have quite a lot of customers out in the Pacific Northwest, thanks mainly to Most Worshipful Jim Mendoza. I just randomly met him on the street in Cooperstown, and he wanted my stuff, and he is just a huge fixture out there, so it's gone well there, and so I got to support them like they support me. So they're getting their new hockey team, so they're getting a Kraken jersey here fairly soon.
Nice.
So Nathan, give a shout out to your business. Where on the internet can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at twopillarapparel.com. It's two spelled out, TWE pillars, or TWE, TWO pillarsapparel.com.
It's the old English spelling.
You're going to get a job with that show. That's
you're a natural.
But also, I put out my promotions and stuff on my Facebook page, so Two Pillars Apparel there as well.
And Carl, what do you have going on?
Well, with this whole COVID thing that's been going on, business was doing okay. All of our actual live events were canceled, so that was the bulk of our sales there. So we kind of switched gears a little bit, and I started focusing on selling antiques. So we do have our antiques page. I've got a huge collection of personal collection of antiques that I've just kind of been moving about. Big bulky things that I just don't have room for and things like that. So the antiques page, which is on Facebook, it's called Masonic Antiques and Collectibles. We've been primarily focusing on there. We're doing some auctions now on there, and we'll facilitate auctions for brothers as well. So that's been picking up pretty well. We've got over 7,000 members so far, and people can come in from anywhere, all over the world if they've got Masonic stuff that they want to sell or display or show off. Brothers are enjoying that now, while there's really not much going on. So that's really what we've been focusing on lately. As far as Ascended Masters clothing goes, we're still working on things, coming up with things. There'll be some new stuff coming up as soon as all this gets over and done with. We'll have some more designs out. As I mentioned before, we've got some pins coming up. We've got a couple new pin designs we'll be releasing here shortly. And then we've got some other things in the works. We're trying to find brothers that, can help us out as far as foundry work. Looking to make some ashtrays, hopefully, in the near future. So I need a brother that can work in brass, things like that. So if any of your listeners out there can do that, please reach out to me. We are looking for someone that can help us create something. I've got a few ideas in mind, things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's fun. Like Nathan mentioned earlier, this is really a hobby of mine that just blew up into a business, and it's just I love doing it. You know, I love making stuff for brothers, and it's wonderful. You know, it's a blessing in disguise here. Just being able to deal with all of this, and I don't look at it as a job really. It's just, you know, it's a hobby. You know, it's a passion. It's a love.
So,
Carl,
what's the website for your stuff?
My website is ascendedmastersclothing.com. Ascended, ASCENDED, mastersclothing.com.
So I'll make a big announcement that I think Larry knows about it, but none of the other guys know about it. So you talk about the big thing. When we released that jewel, you know, we thought what Jack, that we're going to sell 30 or 40.
Yeah, that was the first guess.
Yeah.
After a year, maybe.
Yeah, so we sold 200 of the original ones, and then we're about 600 of the black ones.
Wow.
So I think my best year selling scarves was like grossing $4,000. I had like 17,000 or 18,000 roll into PayPal in 1 month.
Oh yeah!
Wow, that's great.
And yeah, magically, the government cares about me now. And
what is that you're selling?
Yeah,
yeah. So you know, somebody's got to pay for those COVID checks that are going out. I guess it's going to be me this year. But so I completely was freaking out what to do because, you know, I'm on disability because of my cancer treatment, and I'm allowed to make $12,000 a year. I'm not allowed to make $18,000. But so the paperwork is done, or not done yet, but it's all in the works. Masonic Light Podcast is officially a LLC at this point. And then we're going to have to figure out how to work in some of this merchandise that's, you know, going forward. But my goal is to kind of at someday dissolve the scarf business and, you know, run everything through the podcast, and the podcast can benefit from it, and I can benefit from some of the tax breaks of a LLC. So
very cool.
That's great news, brother.
Well, if you guys start offering some autographed Larry Merris pictures, I think those will sell pretty well.
Well, hold that thought
coming up. Yeah.
We have the Larry Merris 2020 calendar that's going to, yeah.
We're going to introduce it in March of 2021. That'll be the thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
That could be the scariest calendar ever. Could you imagine the Men of Masonic Podcasting calendar?
Oh, Lord.
And as fat and ugly as our show is, we're kind of like a Masonic medium. There's some like,
oh yeah, really.
There's some scarier guys than us, which makes me feel better. So yeah, one of the
I will
things,
say though.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
I was going to say, once I started doing, my apparel, I learned that a Masonic medium. I know you're talking looks, not sizes, but a Masonic medium is not the rest of the world's medium. That's for sure.
Masonic medium is like a double extra large.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, back to you, Carl. I asked you a couple. I had this idea for a shirt I wanted to make, and I've stayed away from shirts because I don't want to stock all these different sizes. So I said, Carl, can you just, what sizes do you sell? So how do you, what's your most popular size?
Yeah, that I will say that is the biggest pain of all this, is keeping up with sizes. I've got to stock all this stuff on hand, and when I print, I don't have the machinery, so I've got to use a printer. And when I print, they've got a minimum, so I've got to keep 72 shirts in stock of each design, and then we run into sizes. So what sizes sell out and what sizes do we keep on hand? I think the most popular size that we sell is an XL. So either large or XL. Anything
large.
beyond that.
Large. Masonic large is like a fifth grader.
Right?
Yeah,
Let's
but
deem away.
believe it or not, that is our two most popular sizes, large and extra large.
Ah.
That's funny. Mine are XL and 2XL, so that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you're in rural New York. They've oh no, the Chicago's got better food, so it's who knows.
Oh, there you
We use a lot of corn syrup and everything.
Yep.
Deep dish.
So, Carl, how many like medium shirts do you have stacked up in a corner with getting dusty?
Medium, I don't really carry too many. I think I print of each design. I think I print about maybe 3 mediums. So, and I still have a lot of mediums left.
So, well, one of the things I'll throw this out there to you guys if you guys are interested, because when I was talking to John Bridegroom, I really think we need to get a small group, maybe on Facebook, of creative Masonic people. It doesn't have to just be stores. It isn't about selling. Maybe it's just more or less to like bounce ideas off each other. Because, I look at some of the stuff that, and the people they know, like you guys have done shows. You have vendors. I never would have been able to find John Bridegroom if a brother didn't refer him to me. And Ryan Flynn. I mean, he's selling kind of fancy art than we sell, but it's just we have a core group of creative people, and I think we just need to kind of keep that going.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we're lacking as far as Masonic craftsmen go is that support between one another. We don't have that. I mean, I kind of also get the sense sometimes too that guys are actually competing, and it just doesn't make any sense to me because it's like, why do we have to have this competition when we're all brothers and we're all in it for the same reason? It's not like we're two big corporations fighting it out over who's going to have the customer. Every Mason out there is going to want to have a different T-shirt. They're gonna spend their money no matter what it is, and fighting back and forth over customers, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So we do need to have like a resource of where brothers can go and find stuff that's actually made by legitimate brothers. As opposed to just going on Amazon and purchasing a random shirt or a random ring from someone that is not a Mason. And I think if Grand Lodges were to get behind this and say, hey, this is a list of actual Masonic vendors that are brothers that you can buy from, if they were to get behind that movement, that would make it even better, where we wouldn't have companies like these Chinese companies that profit off the craft and sell stuff, because there are a lot of brothers that buy some of this stuff because they don't know.
Absolutely. It's so I guess I'll add that to my project list.
And yeah, I have to say though, it's you're totally right though that I don't look at it as, I mean, Carl's also a t-shirt guy and he's doing pins. That's really what I do, shirts and pins. I don't see him as competition at all. Not only because we're totally different styles, but also like, I don't care. Like we both said, this is a hobby for us. Like, yeah, you might make, you might need that money for something here or there, but like, it's really just a hobby. It's such a great way to just meet people.
Right.
Yeah, it's I can't tell you how many guys I've met just because of doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, whenever the world opens back up, we should make sure we all find some event that has vendors, and we can all show up together. Then we can all go out and have a cocktail in the evening when it's all done.
I agree.
I'd be up for that.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to wrap up. We're going to hear Jack's news, whatever other segments people have sent us in, and of course, our friend Larry is going to send us home.
Hello, brethren. Dutchie Duck is here again to give an update from my lodge, the Broken Plow number 377. As Masons, we often talk about the mysteries of Freemasonry. And many of us have no idea what that means, but the members of the Broken Plow experience firsthand some mysteries themselves this month. Every summer, our lodge gets together in August for our annual picnic. It is always a nice opportunity for us to sit down with our families, enjoy a great meal and fellowship. Most years we do a pig roast with a pig donated by one of the brothers. But this year, given the craziness that is 2020, we decided to go a little bigger and better. Brother Jeremiah Wasserman has a cousin who lives down at the shore, and he said that he had an inn on fresh clams. We all agreed and planned for a good old-fashioned clam bait. On the day of the picnic, we all gathered in the grove out behind the temple. Brother Wasserman showed up with 5,000 fresh little neck clams. Brother Charlie Welchcon brought 25 dozen fresh sweet corn from his garden, and all the brothers and their families brought a multitude of side dishes. The lodge furnished 2 kegs of ice-cold PA Dutch-style birch beer. The weather was beautiful, and everyone was excited to enjoy the day properly socially distanced, of course. The clams were steaming in the iron kettles, the corn was cooking away, and butter was being melted. Yumma, what more could one want? The time had finally come, and the food was brought to the tables. Everything smelled wonderfully good. After an appropriate blessing from our chaplain and a toast from the worshipful master, we all dug in. Things seemed to be going well at first until a large commotion broke out at the Schlucker family table. Unbeknownst to Brother Harry Schlucker, he had a shellfish allergy and he started blowing up like a groundhog that had been hit on the road and left there on a hot summer day. Since he didn't know about the allergy, he didn't have an EpiPen on him, and sadly neither did anyone else. Now earlier I had mentioned mysteries. Well, it is a well-known fact among the Pennsylvania Dutch that we have a mystical side to our culture too, powwowing. Powwowing is a traditional form of healing. Now some call it witchcraft, others believe it's nothing more than a bunch of hooey, and others truly believe in its knowledge and abilities. As Brother Schlucker was gasping for air, Brother Patrick Braucher ran to the table, and many of the brethren weren't aware that Brother Patrick was a 6th-generation powwower, having learned the trade from his father and his grandfather. Brother Patrick quickly jumped to work. He grabbed a ribbon from Brother Schlucker's daughter's hair, got behind Brother Schlucker, dragged the ribbon across his throat 3 times while mumbling something in Pennsylvania Dutch that none of us could quite make out. He then ran over to the fire that was cooking the clams, threw the ribbon into the flames, and shouted, "Knock a foot!" As soon as he had done this, miraculously, Brother Schlucker's throat seemed to open up, and he could breathe again, as if nothing had ever happened. We all rejoiced and gave Brother Patrick a standing ovation. We all finished our meals and enjoyed an afternoon of quaits, cheap cigars, and cold birch beer. Now, some of you might think that this is a crazy story and it just can't be true. Rubbing a ribbon over someone's throat, mumbling Pennsylvania Dutch words, and throwing it into a fire? Come on, Dutchie Doug, that's just nonsense. Well, I can't explain it either. It's a mystery. All I know is that I saw it with my own eyes. Sometimes in life, the things that we don't or can't understand can have the most meaning. I'll let Brother Patrick continue his healing work without complaining or any criticizing from me. Till next time, work hard, stay plumb, and out in the lights when you leave the room. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Dutch language, culture, and history, please visit my website, padutch101.com, or my YouTube channel. Just search Doug Maidenford. And to learn more about the traditional healing practices of powwowing among the Pennsylvania Dutch, look up the book Powwowing in Pennsylvania by Patrick Dunmoyer. It's available at Masthof Press. Visit them at masthof, masthof.com.
In Masonic news today, at a recent rehearsal of the 35th degree at the Valley of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, things went wildly amiss when Moses attempted to part the Red Sea and the fire sprinkler system filled the Masonic Center with nearly 3,000 gallons of water. The leak, being on the 4th floor, caused water to cascade through the building, resulting in damage on 3 lower floors. When asked for comment, Degree Master C. Harry Groening said, we decided next year we're doing Pillars of Fire. What could possibly go wrong? We agree, Larry. What could? That's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
So Josh is a worshipful master in that building. Can you explain to our listeners what happened?
I think initially they thought it was the sprinkler system, but then I think they changed it to a pipe that burst instead. But I'm not 100% sure. Now I'm guessing myself.
That's fake news, Josh. Fake news. Sorry.
Yeah. Either way, the only thing I know is that they're ripping out all the carpet. All the stuff from the museum is getting taken out. There's like an inventory company that's coming in and doing all the inventory for the museum and the pieces and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be probably a good 3 months until anybody can meet there.
Well, I'm going to breakfast tomorrow, so I will have the updated report.
Well, we expect a field report from our field reporter, Larry Merris.
Yeah.
Okay, what does everybody have coming up in the next couple weeks? Jack?
Well, one of our members is being the change and decided to just call a picnic. So we're going to have a picnic later on this month down at Greater Park in Ephrata, and just to bring the people out to get together again for the first time in a very long time. So we're excited about that. And other than that, I've got some various secret Masonic invite bodies happening, and we're just going to keep on keeping on.
Brother Carl.
Hopefully
of Ascended Masters Clothing.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be having another sales event. We did have a live sales event where what we did was we rented out the suite on a hotel, and we had set up our merchandise there, and brothers came out and we had a good time, drinks and whatnot, cigars, and it's pretty good. And brothers want to do it again, so we'll most likely be doing that in a couple weeks.
Would you like to come to Harrisburg in September?
We'd love to. I mean, if we can get something going like that everywhere, especially now that things are shut down, we're willing to travel.
Tim, can we make that happen?
We'll see. Since I've got the mic here, I will just share that on September the 13th, the Valley of Harrisburg is hosting a pig roast and cigar smoker at the Valley of Harrisburg. You can go online at valleyofharrisburg.org and look under Valley Events and get tickets there. They're $25 each. There's going to be live music. There's going to be a lot of cigar smoking. There's going to be pig roasting. The Masonic Light podcast team will be there. Sure. And if you want to talk to me offline, I'll see if we can get you connected to the person that can perhaps make that happen.
Nathan, you'd be a part of that as well.
Great. Look forward to it.
Tim, why don't you talk to Josh and see what he's got going on?
Josh, what you got going on the next? I love this. We love our technology. This is why we love our Patreons so much, because we need to get our stuff together. Josh, what have you got going on Masonically the next couple weeks?
Just continuing to plan for our upcoming meeting and figure out where exactly we're going to have it. Try to get a last-minute dispensation for moving our meeting and COVID stuff. So other than that, that's about it.
Okay. Who's next, Pete?
Nathan, what do you have going on?
For the first time since March, both of my lodges, Delaware River Lodge 439 in Delhi, New York, will be meeting. And so will Otsego Lodge number 138 in Cooperstown, New York. And so we'll be electing our officers, and I'm sure we have plenty of business to take care of since we haven't met in the last 5 months. But yeah, excited for that. Hopefully I will no longer be junior warden, so that'd be nice.
That's because you'll be senior warden, right?
Well, let's hope, yeah.
Larry, are you have breakfast coming up?
Yeah, and breakfast tomorrow, goose and gridiron. my first breakfast really back.
How many people are showing up now in this?
Let's be careful.
About 10 or 12. Not many.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, the Masonic Center. The Masonic Center is very well represented, by the way. They take up a table of 6.
So what do I have going on? Jack and I are going to a dinner this Sunday with some of our 27 of our closest friends.
Not this Sunday.
Oh, the last Sunday, the final Sunday of the
fifth Sunday.
And then on September 9th, we are going to be releasing episode number 103. Oh, no. Actually, before that, our next guest is going to be Heather Calloway. And then the episode after that is going to be the Knights of the Zoroasters. So that's all I'm doing. Is just putting the finishing touches on that train wreck.
The pin is gorgeous, by the way.
It is awesome.
Thank you. And it's tough. It's tough because if I played like Tim's part for you, it's so dry. So we had to add some things in post production to try and pick it up a little bit.
You told us just to read it.
well, like read it like I don't know, an actor.
Really? That's why I'm not an actor.
I've seen work at the Valley of Harrisburg, so yeah, I can. Hey, Larry.
Yo.
Do you want to take us out of here?
Yeah.
Cure the chickens.
Special thanks to Everett Lodge 665 for making their broadcast studio available. I'm assuming it's still there. Am I right?
No, it was flooded by a burst pipe.
Oh, jeez.
It's still there.
Just kidding.
It's still there, Larry. I just ordered I got a huge box of acoustical foam tiles. I did not realize that they were vacuum packed. So when I opened it, they exploded all over my living room.
Oh, no.
So I'll try to squeeze those into my Civic, because if they were in my Jeep, they'd blow away. And we're going to try and get those installed coming up soon.
Also, thanks to Josh Lamberton, our producer and director, who continues to make this train wreck of a show very listenable to our audience. Thanks to Jack Harley, our news director, and Tim Dedman, our marketing director. To Masonic Light Podcast contributors Michelle Snyder, Jim Stevens, and Dutchie Doug Maddenford. And really, I have nothing really to close tonight with. Isn't that strange?
Yay!
Yay!
No, never mind. I won't tell the joke. Never mind. Most of you wouldn't get it anyway. Hey, thanks for listening. This is Larry Merris.
This is Tim.
Brother Carl and Brother Nathan, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Tell everybody to stay on until it records.
And, well, no, somebody tell Josh to say goodbye, because I can't hear it.
Say goodbye, Josh.
Goodbye, Josh.
Nice.
There you go.